Athletes, welcome back to another great day of fitness. Our workout today includes running, pulling, pushing, and some lower body work as well. So we've got the fitness buffet, we got Clara, we got Philip, and we are ready to get fit with you. Our warm-up is starting in 10 seconds, so clear out that space, get ready to get some movement in. We are getting prepared for today's warm-up. We've got 3, 2, 1. Athletes are making their way to the runners. So what we're gonna do right now is that we're gonna start out with a walk. We're gonna go through this for about 2 rounds, but I'm gonna have athletes just to start moving. Now, during this time, if you do not have set running distances for yourself, you're gonna go ahead and figure out what this distance is. We've got a 600-meter run in today's workout. Philip is gonna be walking during that time. We will have Clara running during that time. For Philip, he's got a 3-minute time frame. So if you've got a place to run, but you don't know your distances, what I want you to do during this warm-up or before we get started with the workout is you're gonna run out for about 1.5 minutes. At that time, you're gonna turn around and come back. So just keep in mind, however, whatever your landmark was at the 1:30 mark, that's where you're gonna run to for every round to get 300 out and 300 back in. If you do have a distance in mind and you know how far you're gonna go, then this is the time that I want you to go out to that mark and then come back just to make sure that everything's feeling good. I'm gonna go ahead and have athletes step off of the runners. We're gonna get back in front here, and just to get our lower body warmed up a little bit more for that running, we're gonna do some heel toe rocks. So up to our toes, back to our heels, up to our toes, back to our heels, and I want you guys to rock back and forth through this. We just want to get our ankles warmed up before we get in that, because we could be doing this in the morning, we could be doing this in the evening, but whatever time of day it is, we have to get warmed up properly so we can perform well. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna relax. You can hang on to your box if you need to, but we're gonna take one foot, put it out in front, and I want you guys to do ankle circles in one direction. We're gonna stop and go opposite direction. And then we're gonna do the same thing with the other side. You're gonna find that you have an ankle that does not work like the other. So one will go nice circles, the other one's gonna go in squares. Just try to get smooth, full range of motion there. Flip it around the other direction for me. And then what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and relax. We're gonna go into practice for these renegade rows that we have today. So the first thing is, let's get on the floor and go into a plank position. So we're gonna go onto our hands and we're gonna hold this. We're gonna focus on keeping our core nice and engaged for 3, 2, 1, relax. We're gonna go back into this in 3, 2, 1, back into this renegade row position. We're gonna hold that plank and relax. Now the next thing that we have is I want you guys to give me 5 push-ups. So we're gonna get back into that plank position, and it's gonna be a full push-up all the way down, chest touches the floor, and back to full extension. If you wanna throw in a hand release here, just to get yourself into a little bit extra range of motion, you can. After our 5th one, what we're gonna do is we are gonna move to the weights that we are using for our bent over rows for that renegade row. So I'm gonna have Clara start going through some reps here, getting into a nice strong position with your back. Philip is gonna get into his plank position on his box. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna alternate arms here. So he's gonna pull back, touching his side, getting ready for the renegade row itself. If you don't know what a renegade row is, it is getting into a plank position, either body weight or holding onto dumbbells. And you guys are gonna pull back with each arm, doing a row, and then you're gonna do a full push-up at the end of that row. I'm gonna have athletes go ahead and relax for me. And then everybody's favorite, we got air squats next. So Philip's gonna squat to a chair. We've got Clara doing regular air squats. When we get into this position, I'm gonna be picky because we only have 30 reps on each round, which is 90 total. I want chest up, knees out. And if you hear me say knees out, what I mean by this is if we watch where Clara's knee is going in relation to her toes, it's the same direction. So if you squat and we see those knees coming in, that is no good. We need knees out in the same direction that those toes are pointing at. I'm gonna go ahead and have athletes relax, and we're gonna go back to our runners to finish out this warm-up. What I'm gonna have Clara do is just pick it up to speed now of where she's gonna run. Philip is gonna keep this at the walk he's doing. If he wants to speed up slightly, he can, but we're just putting ourselves through the paces, making sure everything feels good. If you guys do not feel comfortable with running today because of an injury or anything else you have, then you can substitute a bike for a 3-minute period in place of that run. So pick the options that work best for you today, because we want to keep you guys safe, we want to keep you guys healthy, and most importantly, have a good time without being painful if it's injury related. If it's painful because we're going really hard in that workout, that is acceptable. But I want to make sure we're staying safe. Most importantly, we're going to relax in 3, 2, 1, and that is it. The warm-up is over. The workout is coming. So go take care of what you need to. Take the dog out, grab your water, turn your cell phone on silent, because your workout is coming up next. The workout is here. We've got 10 seconds on the clock. Athletes are starting out with your run. So if you guys have a runner at home, go ahead and move to that machine. We're starting in 2, 1, go. We've got 600 meters of running today. If you do not have a running track that you can use, or if you're not gonna be running today, we can walk for 3 minutes, and that will be equivalent to that run. If you cannot run or walk because we've got an injury going on and we're trying to be smart and let our body heal up, we can hop on a bike. If you get on the bike, it's gonna be the same time domain of that 3 minutes. Now, if you use a bike today, and let's say you get on there and you see that you went 1,500 meters or 1,200 meters within that 3-minute period, I want you to shoot for the distance you establish in the first round or the number of calories that you get. So if we were to get 50 calories in this 3-minute period, I want you to go 50 calories on that bike for the next 2 rounds that we have. So we're kind of setting the standard for ourselves so that we can give ourselves a little bit of a challenge, because getting that same distance or those same calories every single round is going to be difficult, but this is a good substitution. We've got Clara running for her 600 meters. We've got Philip walking for the 3-minute period. I'm going to challenge Philip by having him take one hand off the handle on the runner. And then when we feel comfortable, we're gonna take the other hand off the handle and we're gonna work on the balance here, because if you haven't been on the runner, it's self-propelled. So there's no motor here, there's no engine, except the engine that is walking on the treadmill right now. And we have to find the balance point on the treadmill so that if we move further forward, it goes faster. If we move back, it slows down to a stop. So working on our balance here is a great skill. If you've never used a runner before, an air runner, but you've got access to one, I challenge you guys to hop on there and give it a shot. You may feel silly because you're feeling like you're kind of going back and forth and you can't find the right spot on the tread, but practice it and start to use this, because it's another implement that will be fantastic for reinforcing good running position. If Philip starts to find that his balance is off, he can always put his hands back on those handles. We are 2 minutes into this workout, so Philip has another minute. Clara is doing great on her distance. She's right on track for that 3-minute pace that we're looking at for those 600 meters here. So at home, if you guys are on the run and you can't hear me, know that I'm with you in spirit on this run. If you can hear me, I'm encouraging you guys to keep that same pace. We want to maintain a pace on this run that we can hit in sets 2 and 3 on this. After we get done with this, athletes are going to be moving to their renegade row with a push-up at the end. So again, just to get you guys prepped for that movement, we will be in the plank position, either on our hands on an elevated surface. We can do hands on the floor, or we can do our hands on dumbbells. If we're on those dumbbells in our plank position, we row back with one arm, row back with the other, and then we're gonna go into a full push-up. If you guys find that the push-up portion is too difficult, at any time you can drop down to your knees and you can do your push-up position there. I would prefer a full plank when we do our rowing, and then we can drop down to those knees. Philip is onto his renegade row on the box with the push-up, and we've got Clara finishing right around the same time, going to these dumbbells. Now with our renegade rows, if you watch Clara, I'm gonna have her get her hips down just a little bit lower, because we wanna make sure that we maintain a good plank position here. This movement is full body in terms of we've got an upper body push and pull, and we have that core activation. So if you guys are doing a plank, I'm not gonna allow a bad position of piking ourselves up like this. Philip's doing a great job of maintaining an engaged core, and then as you see, he's using body weight only. So we're bringing those hands back. For Philip, I challenged him before we started the workout to think about making contact with his side and his hand. For Clara, she's only pulling back to that full range of motion. So dependent on the size of the dumbbells that you're using, you may not make contact with your sides, which is completely fine. We just want to make sure we get through that full range of motion pull and then the push-up. We've got both athletes onto their squats right now. And the best part about today's workout is there's no rest. We are going straight through these rounds today. Now you may say, well, I love when we have rest. I love when we have rest too. I love workouts where I get to rest. However, you guys have to figure out what the stimulus for your workouts are. So in a workout like today where there's no rest incorporated, we're thinking about finding a steady pace that we can maintain throughout. It's gonna be more moderate than if we had rest programmed after each of these rounds. If I gave you a break after round 1, you would get recovered, and I would ask you to apply a higher effort than when I'm asking you to go straight into that next round. So both athletes are doing a great job of keeping that chest up, keeping knees out, and making sure that we are getting below parallel or making contact with the target that we're squatting to. Both athletes are done here, and now we're back onto our run. One thing that I want to tell you guys at home, if you are using the squats or squats to chairs and you've been following along with this, I will challenge you to try to find a way to adjust that height within your workouts. So if we use a chair the first time, the next time let's try a couple plates stacked on top of each other with a wall ball on that to lower the height slightly. Our goal ultimately is getting ourselves into a position where our hip crease is right below parallel, or we're thinking about where our kneecap is, we want that hip crease right below it. Full range of motion squats are completely safe and they are great for you as long as you're doing them with good form and we're making sure that we don't have any pre-existing injuries that could affect that. Our athletes in the studio are on round number 2. Philip is on his walk, Clara is on her run. When we're going through this, again, you don't want to get ahead of yourselves and think about, well, I'm trying to be the first one off the treadmill or the first one back from the run. You want to find competition with yourself and maintain. I want to see the same pacing on rounds 1, 2, and 3. Again, after we get done with the runs here, we are moving into the Renegade row with our push-up. And those Renegade rows are no joke. If you guys haven't done these before, if you need to take a rest within the set of 10, that is completely okay. I would rather see perfect reps every single time you go versus you trying to struggle through the last 2 and cheat the standard. So I can't see you at home, but I can see you at home. And you know, if I'm talking to you about that form, I want you guys to make sure it's a nice clean workout, no cheating those standards. Make sure that we get the best possible rep we can because the only person you're cheating is yourself on this. So if you guys are cutting reps to try to beat us in the studio, or you're cutting reps because you're trying to beat your husband or your wife or your kids or your friend or whoever's doing this workout with you, that's not a real victory there. You gotta go all the way through. And even if you don't finish first, it's still possible to win the workout because I want you guys to think about doing this for yourself and being the best possible version of yourself that you can. We got athletes finishing up their run, and then we are going right back into our favorites, these Renegade rows. Philip's doing a great job of working on balance today and not using those handles unless we need them for stabilization. Claire's doing a great job on this run of keeping her shoulders relaxed, and you see her moving those arms, breathing. Always, always, always on those runs. The runs are very difficult to get our breathing and pace if we don't do it regularly. So I want you guys to focus on nice deep breaths on this run. And if you're getting to a place on the run that you're outpacing your breathing, I want you to slow it down slightly and find that where you can control that respiration. We got Clara moving back to her Renegade rows. Philip is finishing up with this walk, and then he's going into his body Renegade rows. Now, I'm gonna challenge Clara. I want her to get into a full plank position for her Renegade row portion. There we go, and then she's gonna go to her knees for the push-up. So if you guys can modify this way to get into a full plank for when you do the row portion and then go to knees, that's completely fine. Now, if you find it's too difficult to maintain the plank position when you do the row, I will allow you to go knees the entire time. But if we can step down to a version that's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but easier than what we just did, that's what I want. So you can mix and match here. We've got Philip back on his box, working on these Renegade rows. Again, Philip is coming up and touching those sides with his hands. We got Clara going full range of motion with the dumbbells, which again, does not necessarily mean that the dumbbell's gonna make contact with their side. Philip is done with his Renegade rows, and he's moving on to these squats. With the squats, when you're going to an object, it's very important that if you need to sit down on the object, that is okay. We've checked it out before to make sure it's something that can support our body weight. However, the goal is to go down to that object and make contact and stand. So what I'm asking you to do is I want you to maintain tension in your legs throughout the squat. Don't sit down, lose tension, and then regain it again unless you are building up your squats. And this is a movement that's been challenging because we're all at a different place in our fitness journey. So I don't want you to feel like the way you're doing it is wrong. We always want to make sure that whatever version of the movement we're doing is giving ourselves a challenge. So if you find that going and you've been doing squats sitting to the chair every single time, let's try every other rep making contact and standing. The analogy I give is that it's the middle of July and you sit down on a hot leather car seat and you got to stand right back up. That's what we do, is that we're going to think about not maintaining that rest on the chair or the object. It's just making that contact. Philip is on to his final round in this workout, and Clara is right behind him on this. We've got our final 600 meters here. Again, if you guys are staying track with Philip, he's going a 3-minute walk. Clara is going her 600-meter run. Now, this third round is going to be the one that you guys have to dig in here. So whatever your times have been for the first 2 rounds, if you haven't been keeping track of that, that's okay. I just want you to feel that same pace that we established in rounds 1 and 2. It's very easy to try to be the first one out of the gate. And as much as I hate to say that winning the warm-up does not mean that you win the workouts, we got to be able to figure out the way to maintain and figure out our internal pacing. Because the mark of a mature athlete is someone that doesn't get caught up trying to keep up with the person next to them. You've got to be able to read your body and figure out the signs it's telling you so that you can get the stimulus that we have for this workout. Again, the stimulus for today's workout is maintaining the same pace through rounds 1, 2, and 3. On this run, on this walk, we're focused on nice deep breaths. In and out, keeping ourselves relaxed because we're gonna go right back into these renegade rows. And 30 reps on renegade rows is no joke. You guys have gotten 20 reps done so far. We've got our final 10 coming up. And I know that these are gonna be the best renegade rows of the entire workout. We're maintaining that good posture of keeping our chest up, whether we're walking, whether we're running. We're keeping ourselves relaxed. I want you guys to focus on keeping eyes on the horizon. Don't stare down at your feet. Keep yourself relaxed through your shoulders, through your arms. We got Philip watching the clock. He's working on trying to beat Clara here. I don't know who's gonna win this one, but we always like to encourage a little friendly competition here. If you guys are working with us at home and you're on pace with Philip and Clara, we're gonna see if you can pull ahead here. But again, it's gotta be clean reps. It's not a victory if you cheat the standard. So as athletes finish up this final walk and this final run, we will be going into the renegade rows. Again, if you are piking at home and getting those hips up super, super high, I want you to challenge yourself and get yourself into a nice solid plank. If you need to modify by getting down onto our knees so that we can do the row portion and the push-up portion, that's fine. If we can do the row portion with a full body, that's what I would love to see, and then you can drop down for your push-ups on your knees. Philip is very close to finishing up, and he'll be moving to his box. We've got Clara finishing up her run, and she will be moving to her dumbbells. I cannot wait to see what happens. It's really difficult to talk all the way through a 600-meter run. And if you guys don't like to hear me talking while you're suffering through that run, I'll give you a moment of silence right now. And that's all you get, because I do want to be motivating, but within reason. So we got Philip moving to his renegade row on the box. We got Clara finishing up and moving to her dumbbells. Both athletes are giving me what I've asked for. Philip's got a fantastic plank position at the top. Claire's doing a great job of keeping herself in a nice plank, going into her rows, and then she drops down to her knees for that push-up. Again, do not feel like you're weak just because you have to modify the movement. We are working at wherever your fitness capacity is right now. We're not gonna get better unless we use a variation of these movements that challenges us but allows us to do the movement to the standard that we've put in place. So Claire's taking a quick rest, which is fine, and that's what I want to see. Being smart about not burning out on this movement is what is going to get you all the way through. We've got Philip finishing up with his elevated renegade rows, and then he is back into his air squats. It's his final set for Philip, and then we've got Clara finishing up on these renegade rows, and then she is going to go into her air squats. And again, we got a horse race right now. I don't know where I'm going to put my money. It's either Team Green or Team Maroon. But either way, we're both getting fit today. We're getting fit with you guys, and we are thankful, as always, for you showing up. This is the last stretch here. If you guys are with our athletes air squatting, I need you to push, push, push here. Get full range of motion below parallel, and then getting full extension at the top. I don't want you cheating that and only getting to this position and going down into that squat. We are almost there. We are almost done. If you guys are still on your renegade rows, keep pushing. You are not behind. You're right where you're supposed to be in this workout. I want you guys to get all your reps, get all the way through this workout. This is the last one, and then we get to rest after this. So keep pushing here. Philip is done. He got his time off the clock. Philip, great job. We got Clara finishing up her last few reps here. There you go, Clara. Clara's doing the pause at the top and then knocking out a couple of reps, which is a great strategy, and Clara is done as well. Great job. Thank you so much, athletes. If you guys are still working at home, get all the way through this workout. Just because we're done doesn't mean that you're done. If you guys have finished up at home, fantastic effort once again. We love having you guys with us every single day. Do not forget to stick around for your cool down, because that's coming up next. Athletes, thank you again for joining us. You guys did a fantastic job. Now I've got to ask you, if you're not a part of the Mayhem Athlete community, why not? If you like today's workout, we have tons of other workouts just like this and tons of workouts unlike this that will get you along your goals, whether you are aiming to do bodybuilding, functional fitness, CrossFit, working out on the road, working out at home, working out at the office on your lunch break, because we got stuff for that as well. The Mayhem Athlete community is full of athletes that will be encouraging you along the way to your goals, whether you want to just be a better version of yourself and be a little bit fitter, or make it all the way to the competition floor. So again, if you love today, we would love you to join us. So join Mayhem Athlete today. Now, this is the most important part. I always get overly serious because we're gonna do it here, so I know that means you're gonna do it at home, but you got your cool down somewhere around here, maybe here or here. But I need you guys to make sure that you take care of your body, because it just took care of you. And most importantly, this is more important than the cool down. Be good, be kind, and join us again for another great day of fitness.